This week on Dumb Pitches, we're back. We're here. And we got to talk about what has happened in the last few weeks, travel-wise. And Blake and I decide together whether Texas is a good idea or not. Featuring my new Bucky's hat. Here we go. Dumb Pitches.
What a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to another episode of Dumb Pitches with Monica Nevi. I'm Monica Nevi, your host. This is the show where we talk to successful people about their worst ideas. It's just me right now. Happy to be here. Happy to be back. We took a little hiatus, I would say, because I was traveling like crazy, which it turns out might not have been the best idea. I don't know. I did a lot of travel for like 5 or 6 weeks in a row, which I try not to do. I try to go like every other week for my own mental stability and family life. But that didn't really work out, I was busy. I had a lot of shows. They were great. Thank you, everyone who came to shows recently. I was going to say came recently. That's, thank you to you too. I think that's better for the world. Really good shows, a lot of fun, new places I hadn't been before, or at least hadn't worked before. So I decided to take this week off, and now I have no money. So it's a weird life, and it's pretty stressful because I felt good, and I felt like I deserved the time off, but then there's nothing really to show for it. I literally have to take a break. I'll just stay in our house and not move. No. I ended up taking other things. Ugh. But I have a lot to talk about, kind of to catch up on of my travels. And then producer Blake is going to help us answer the question, is Texas a good idea? Because we both just worked in Texas for a little while. So interesting things to learn. But before we get into Texas, I think it's important to know that I was in Indianapolis. I was in St. Louis. I was in Portland, Oregon, Crescent City, California, Southern Oregon, and places like that. I learned a lot. Here is my synopsis of those few places. Let's see. Crescent City, California, which is very North Coast California, so it's colder there. I did a casino that was huge. A really big ballroom it had like my picture on TV screens and stuff on the side of the stage. It was, the first time that's really happened, and that was cool. And it was a really fun audience. Definitely an interesting group of people that live in Crescent City, California. I don't even know if they live there, but beach towns, you always think like, oh, it's probably like fancy rich people, and it turns out in the wilds of Northern California or Oregon or Washington, the beaches are cold, so that's not always the case. A lot of trailers. Still very beautiful. I could walk from my hotel to the water, which was great. Sometimes when you get on stage, you're like, I want to make fun of this place. Is that a good idea? You never know. Are people going to get offended? Even though it's a comedy show, we're all joking, and stuff. This night I happened to just take a chance. So when I got on stage, I was like, Crescent City, wow, I've never been here before. And I said, what a beautiful place to live in your car. And they loved it. They thought it was hilarious. I like a town that doesn't take themselves too seriously, can make fun of themselves. Because if you do get to some of those more richer hoity-toity, I don't use that term, but you know what it means, they're not very good at taking jokes about themselves. So I appreciate you, Crescent City, California. Portland was great. I had a Wednesday night at Helium Comedy Club, and we had over 100 people there. I felt good about it. Filmed it. I have some clips coming out from that. In fact, if you're on YouTube memberships, I think I'm just going to put the whole thing on there. So yeah, join YouTube memberships if you want to see more of my stand-up more often. Let's do it. Why not? I also have another one from Club Comedy. I can put it all up there. Who cares? See the evolutions of the jokes and my holiday material. Yeah, that's another question. Is that going to be a good idea? If I haven't announced it on here, I'm doing a holiday special in November 25th. Comedy at Carco Theater. We're going to film it there. I think it's a good idea. I don't know if it's going to be that lucrative. But I also need some, I applied for a grant, which I have done before. 80 for 80 I made with a grant. But you have to actually get the grant for that to be, and I don't know if that's going to happen, and I won't know for a while, so we might have to do some crowdfunding, which I don't like, but we'll see. Maybe you're sitting there with all your money, just Scrooge McDuck sitting in a pile of gold coins, and you would be interested in investing in a project. Oh, let me know. DM, email, whatever. Okay. Portland was good. Yeah. Then I performed on the Friday of that week, which was a couple weeks ago, in Southern Oregon. I did 3 shows in one night, all at different locations. Not a great idea anyways. However, you just need money, right? I originally had booked like a winery around 6:30 p.m. It was St. Patrick's Day, which is always an interesting day to do comedy because people are hammered. You know that. They did like a whole dinner thing, and it worked out. They sold out. But the person who booked me, Levi, very funny guy, he messaged me and was like, hey, on that same day, would you be interested in doing a retirement community? Which, not to no one's surprise, wouldn't be my first. I've done that maybe 4 or 5 times. And I had the forethought to ask if it was like assisted living, memory care, or if it was, independent living type of thing. It was independent living, however, which is better. So I said sure, because I need money. And so it was me performing at 4 p.m. for a bunch of old people. There was quite a few of them there, though. Which, if you've ever seen kind of a split audience, never more than a bunch of old people. Some old people are nuts, having a good time, maybe having a Guinness. I made good friends with Noreen and Shirley. Shirley and I are going to plant some marijuana in their garden. Or, there's the other half of the room that was just like staring at me. I said naked once. They did not like that. So that was interesting. And then that night after the winery, I did a bar in Gold Hill, Oregon, where everyone looked like a prospector. So it was an interesting, I was just so tired by the end of it. Anyways, and then I think the drunkest people that I've ever performed for were in Indianapolis. So that's what I learned over the past little bit, separate from Texas. Blake was getting his food if you can't hear him wrestling around now, but I didn't want to get to Texas yet because Blake has also recently had an experience going to Texas, and he's going to chime in maybe.
Hello.
I was performing. I did 2 nights in Austin and then 1 show in Dallas, Texas, and then stayed 1 more day in Dallas because my brother lives there. That's where I got this beautiful Bucky's hat. You've heard of Bucky's, but you didn't know. You weren't able to stop at a Bucky's.
I only heard of Bucky's while I was in Texas.
Yeah, they don't have them anywhere else but the South. And it's like gas station, convenience store on steroids. Like it's...
And supposedly they have really good bathrooms, I was told. I was told they have very clean bathrooms.
They do. It's quite an operation, the whole thing, because like so many people go there and they are pretty big. Like we went on Sunday and it was probably busier than Walmart. But they have like clothes, which is all like still has Buc-ee on it, but it's got like a whole apparel department.
Is it expensive?
No. It's like a gas station. I mean, it's the same as like,
But it's a big gas station.
but it's huge. Yeah, they have a whole wall of beef jerky, like
Wow.
different kinds that they make, and they have all these like brisket sandwiches and stuff in the middle. And when people order stuff, they yell it out like at Pike Place or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then like there's people working all over the place, like restocking stuff constantly because it's always busy. And then there's like a bakery and shit, but it's like the happiest place on earth. You can buy a knife there too if you want. I don't think they have guns, but maybe depending on the one that you go to. And then your normal, you know, drinks and different normal gas station stuff. And
Can
then
you get liquor there though?
I think you can get beer and stuff. I don't know. It probably depends on where.
Mm.
Texas, not as much, I don't think. But some places in like Kentucky and stuff, you can't buy alcohol at all. Excuse me. But I got this hat and some beef jerky, and I think that's it. No, sunglasses. But you could buy an inner tube and some camping chairs and
So it's big. It's like a
Walmart,
or not as big.
I mean,
as a
it's not as big as a Walmart, but for a gas station, I would say. Have you ever been to a Pilot?
Mm-mm.
No, okay, because those are bigger too, but it's like two of those together.
Maybe like a Rite Aid.
Sure, yeah, it's probably the same size as a Rite Aid.
Wow.
Maybe a little bit bigger, but
Damn.
yeah, that's a good, yeah. But yeah, just because it has so much other weird stuff, you know, that you normally wouldn't find at a gas station or whatever, I
Yeah.
think is why. But we took a picture of my mom with the Buc-ee statue and all this good stuff, which we
Amazing.
eventually someone was like, are you guys done? Because we would like to take a picture with the statue now.
Oh man.
But so Austin, I mean, that's the thing. I had good shows. I had good shows in Texas, both places.
Mm-hmm.
Austin is like certain areas or whatever seem even more liberal than Seattle. And like it's almost like they're trying to be though. Like it's
like they're trying to be. Yeah, there's a lot of hipsters I saw.
Yeah, that's like their thing, and they also have the like "Keep Austin Weird" slogan, which is the same as Portland. And I don't know, it was really interesting. But then it's still Texas. It's still very much Texas. Did I tell you I performed at Joe Rogan's club?
The Mothership?
Mm-hmm.
How was it? I was just listening to a podcast. Andrew Schultz was saying like that comedians get paid good there, or is that kind of like
Not me, but
no.
Well, I just got asked to drop into a show, but
They said he was saying like drop-ins and people get paid well.
I'm sure he got paid. That's not how it works. But I was in the Little Boy. There's the Fat Man and the Little Boy. Those are the two rooms. It's almost identical to the Comedy Store. And the audience was exactly what you would think they would be. It's mostly dudes, mostly white guys, and they want something not PC. That's what they've created, a safe space for not PC, which is funny. But
or is it weird?
it was good for me. I mean, I was more nervous because I was the only woman that was on stage probably that whole night. And I'm not like the guy before me was talking about like domestic violence, hitting his girlfriend, and then Tony Hitchcliffe followed me. So I wasn't like, I was afraid I wasn't edgy enough for them essentially.
Wow.
And then I went up and did fine. They really liked me. But it's like, like it's weird not to mention like, okay, I'm not going to do that. But then my friend Dustin Nickerson was also on it, and he's more like clean. Yeah. And he did great too. But so yeah, it's I think they're just bringing in a good mix of people, but a lot of it is like, yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Do you get to meet all the comics? I was literally just listening to Andrew like on the way here.
You're so excited.
And he was saying there's
so
a green room that connects all the places together.
Yeah. So there's just two rooms, right? But then so in the back of this one, there's doors that go to the green room. Then you can go through that and go to the other room. I didn't go in there. I just hung out in the showroom to watch and stuff. It was also like, I got there at like 11:30, and then a drunk guy tried to follow me in because it's like right on 6th.
The drunk guy, you said?
Yeah. Because the guy who produced the show was like, okay, just the door guys, like tell them you're here to see me and you're on this show, and then they'll take you to the room. And I was like, okay. And so there's guys out front in black shirts, which this was my fault. But I was like, oh, hey. I was like, oh, are you guys security? And they're like, yeah. And they seemed fine at first. And I was like, okay, well, Asan said to let you know I'm on the Little Boy show. And can you just show me where that is? And they were like, oh, yeah, we're just trying to get a drink. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I walk around them and move the thing. And then this woman starts coming towards the door, who is clearly a door person. She has the thing on. And I was like, hi, I'm supposed to be on that room. And they follow me in the door. And I was like, God damn it. I haven't even ever worked here. And of course, I'm just have these drunk assholes with me. And I'm like, I don't know him. I kept being he's following me. I do not know him. I'm on this other show. And I think she thought maybe they're all just trying to get in. Yeah. So she was like, let's go back outside. I was like, fuck. So I go outside and then I say it again. And so she's like, okay. I think she could tell that I was uncomfortable because I didn't want him to be fucking following me. And then she's like, okay, you stand inside. So I'm standing there. And then the guy who's producing is standing on the stairs and he's like, just come over. And I was like, but she's going to think that I'm sneaking in. I don't know what's happening. And then I see her and she's taking pictures of these guys as they're leaving because they were she's like, oh yeah, they'll never be able to come in here. And I was like, good. But yeah, I was like, great first impression was me bringing in drunk people. I was like, I don't know them. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get to this show that I'm more nervous for than anything I've done this week.
Would you go back to that place? Do you like it or?
It was fine. I would do set. I wouldn't go out of my way. I think if you're, I don't want to get in trouble. It's my own podcast. So I can say what I want. I think if you have had trouble performing for places where you think they get offended too easily, I think it's a great place for you. I just don't really have that experience. But that's because the stuff that I want to say usually isn't offensive. So yeah, I think it's great. And obviously it draws a lot of attention. It was sold out and it was fucking midnight, Yeah. And both rooms were sold out. And I think they've just pretty consistently been sold out. So it's a really good. The space was even the little, it's the Little Boy. The Belly Room in LA at the Comedy Store fits it's less than 100. I don't know. Maybe 80. Mm-hmm. And the Little Boy probably fit 200. There was still a lot of people in there. And they were great. And still and they weren't, it's got signs everywhere about not heckling and all this stuff. So, they were a polite audience for how late and drunk in Texas it was.
Why is it called the Mothership? Does it look like a regular venue or does it look like an alien ship or something?
The main stage has a green light over the top of it that kind of looks spacey. But other than that, I think it's just, I don't know, a play on the fact that Joe Rogan likes weird stuff, I guess. I don't know.
Was he there?
I think he wasn't there when I was there. I think he was there earlier in the night. And then... So Tony Hinchcliffe followed me, and he said Joe's name probably 15 times in his set. So people still talk about him a lot, even when he's not there. But, whatever. That's your life.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like most comics that I saw go up mentioned him or that it's his club or something. And it is still new. It's only a month open. So, it was fine. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting experience. And I feel like that was the most Texas things felt when I was in Austin. Because I was at Cap City before, which is a little farther out. It's in this place called the Domain, which is this huge fancy ass mall. And then it was my headlining show in a smaller room. So people who were coming to see me obviously aren't necessarily arguing that they should be able to shoot people or whatever. I don't know. Whatever stereotype you have about Texas, eating barbecue and shooting people.
I didn't even get any barbecue while I was in Texas. I was so mad.
What?
I was on a production team the entire time.
So they were picking where you were eating?
Well, we got $300 worth of barbecue, but I was filming.
Oh.
So other staff members kept going back, and by the time I was hungry, everything was gone.
No, that sucks. I went to La Barbecue, which was recommended. A lot of people say to go to Franklin's. That's but other people were like, that's a tourist trap. So I ate a lot of barbecue at that place. Yeah.
I had a lot of drinks in Texas. I think the entire staff I still like gin because of you.
Okay,
I had a lot of margaritas.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably the day that I left Texas, I probably had like 5 or 6 margaritas, like at different stops along the way. And then I had like a huge thing at the airport too.
Nice. You're like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
I like to drink whatever lighter beer, like a lager, is like their shitty beer that you can't get here.
Mm-hmm.
So I drink a lot of Yingling when I'm in the South, and Texas Lone Star. Like a lot of people have Lone Star, so I drink those sometimes. Shiner Bock, which you can get other places, but so they're not like anything fancy. But that's like what Wisconsin, they have Spotted Cow, which is like you can only get it in Wisconsin. You can't get it anywhere else. They won't sell it to like distribute other places, but it's not like, it's just like a lager, you know, like it's just another. But I get it. So I just like to drink stuff that it's essentially me drinking a Bud Light, but in the South.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
So it was fine. It was good. Dallas's show was awesome. I did Dallas Comedy Club. The show was awesome, but Dallas itself, I was like, I don't know about this place.
I don't know how I felt about Austin though. I felt like I've heard so much about it, and then when you get there, I'm like, I understand why businesses are moving here, because there's like, it's kind of barren and run down a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like it's still shifting around a little bit because so many people have moved there.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, because one of my friends that lives there is not a comic, and that's who I got barbecue with. We just went to high school together, and he happened to move there as well. And he's very blunt, so he was just telling me about everything, and he's like, the college kids used to be over here, but now they're coming over here, and I don't want them over here because I'm in my 30s, and we want, you know. And he goes, but there's nothing to do here other than, like, everybody is nice, and then they just want you to drink with them on the weekends. That's it. There's not, like, anything really else to do. And then, like, it was hot when I was there, and so he was like, people go to the lake, drink there, and then go to bars and drink there. Like, that's, like, all people are doing. And I'm like, okay, well, which is fine. That's not, you know. But, yeah, it doesn't seem like there's, a ton to do. I don't know.
It's cheaper, though.
Yeah, well, I think.
Ubered a lot.
I don't even know. I'm sure it'll go up or is going up because so many people moved there. But that's why I could understand that about Dallas. They said it's more like corporate, like bigger businesses are there because it is cheap. And then, like, yeah, I mean, my brother's house is pretty big, and it's like all brick, you know, like there's big old brick houses. And I was looking at the prices, and I was like, I mean, I get it. It is, if that same house where I live in Tacoma would be twice as much.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, it's fucking crazy. So I kind of get that part. But it's just, that was the thing. I don't know if you noticed this walking around with other people that you didn't know that are from there. Like, it is so different than the Northwest in that people just want to talk and, like, smiling and stuff.
Yes,
and I was like, it's hot and everyone keeps fucking talking to me. And I just want to go over here. Not that I hate, if I'm in the right mood, I love getting to know people, especially people from other places. I'm very interested in talking to a Texan, okay? Don't get me wrong. But how many times people would be like, just smiling at me, and I'd be like, oh yeah, can I help you? Like, do you need it? And they're just like, nope, this is just what my face does. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, just not used to it at all. Because here, everyone's like, if they smile at you, then you're like, yeah, you need something, or you're intending to talk to me. Yeah. Oh God.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it was really, it was interesting. Also, like, I have my family with me, which is, it's good. It's just...
Wait, why'd you bring them? Just because...
Well, my brother lives in Dallas, so they drove there, and then my mom wanted to come, and my sister-in-law is pregnant, so it's like, you know, I think my mom just wanted to be able to see them and stuff, and which is nice, and they are very understanding because I have been doing this for so long, but it is more draining to have other people to kind of, like, worry about, and messes with my routine a little bit of how I travel and prepare and stuff, but... yeah, it was still nice to, like, actually get time with them. But by the time I got home on Tuesday, I was like, just leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Like, I don't want to do any of that. I didn't have any, like, weird stuff, though. And again, with me headlining my own shows, obviously I'm drawing a crowd that, like, at least knows what they're getting into, or they've, like, looked me up a little bit. That would be different than me walking in. And that's probably why I was so nervous for the Mothership. Yes. Because I didn't know what I was walking into. But I'll have to tell you afterwards who was sitting in the front row, and I was excited about it. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so do we think Texas is a good idea? I mean, you had kind of bad experience. Not because of Texas, really.
I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm like. I wouldn't. Oh, that's another weird thing. I'm going back to Texas on April 26th.
Do more research for us.
Yeah.
Wait, where are you? Are you back to Austin? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going back to Austin in like in less than a month of just being there, for another.
More margaritas.
Yes, just for the margaritas. At the same venue too. So basically.
Did you like get hired to go back, or is it okay? Blake
through
was
my
working
sponsorship thing.
at South by Southwest, which is it's a big festival, but there's like music, comedy, films, lots of different stuff going on. So it's a very busy time, and maybe that doesn't give you as good of an idea of what just Austin is like because you're part of a bigger thing.
Fair.
I don't know. Well, and where we were this last weekend, there's like a PGA tournament. So there's like all these dudes in our hotels in their fucking polos and like just being, then clearly they weren't from Texas, you know?
Yeah.
So you still are around people where you're like, this maybe not giving me the exact vibe. I mean, I've been to Texas before and like out. My grandparents lived in Llano, Texas. No one knows where that is. It's tiny and it takes, 15 minutes to drive to your neighbor's house. So it's, that's a different vibe for sure. But I mean, I get it. Why people would want to be there. If you liked the heat, which I don't love.
It wasn't too bad. It wasn't like humid.
Right.
So
It was like 85 when I was there.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit humid. But also coming from it was like 47 when I left here.
Yeah.
So it was a big shift. And I also forgot what 80 felt like. So I just still had sweaters.
Oh,
it was dumb. I didn't have any shorts. I had to buy shorts when I
that's
was there.
why.
But I got a cool new pair of Nikes. But
there we go.
yeah, if you liked the heat, it's slower. Even in Austin, it's definitely like people are just enjoying their time more, and it doesn't feel rushed, which I do like. And then there's more space to just be in a quiet spot. I think if not in a bigger city, but in Texas in general, there's a lot of smaller places. So if that's what you were into, I totally get it. Or if you're a ranch hand. Or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not inspired to go back.
But you're going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
I will be honest. All of the comedy I did, I really liked. I really enjoyed it. And then, because there was my show on Saturday, this is what I did Saturday. My show at Cap City sold out. Great. They were really fun. Weren't too drunk, but kind of drunk. A guy's GPS went off during the show, which was hilarious. I was how they'd start saying oh, take a left up here or whatever. It started doing that.
Literally.
Afterwards, he came up to me and he's like, I just don't know how to turn it. I don't know what happened. I don't know how to turn it up. He felt really bad. But I was like, I've had people have their phones go off, alarms go off, answer the phone, but I've never had someone just start a GPS and be like, I need to get out of here. How do I? But they were super fun. So then I did a second show at 10 that was called Oops, All Headliners. It's kind of similar to the Secret Show where it's a couple people are booked, but then the headliners around drop in. So I dropped in there and they were it felt like liberal hippie to the max. Anything. My opener was doing jokes about his trans sibling. Which and he was a Jewish guy, very, this is very woke, nice jokes about that, whatever. And they were still it was weird. I was like, okay, we got to be careful what we're saying for you guys. And then the antithesis of that was then Comedy Mothership right afterwards. So it was quite a day.
That's amazing.
But even in the spectrum of different audiences, I had a really fun time performing. And Dallas was perfect. They were great. But that was more of an audience that I drew. So yeah, which is an interesting reflection because even though I and I don't even know more, but I like living on the West Coast, the comedy sometimes can be a little bit difficult pulling teeth sometimes because you're trying not to offend anybody. So then I do like to go to places where it's a little less like that. Yeah. That's always why I said I like, Chicago and New York and stuff because it's that rough city type of thing where you can say more. And then obviously Texas, they want you to, and that's what I was afraid of. I was like, I'm not going to say that much more.
Yeah.
So don't get too excited. But yeah. So then the reflection on I think I just like going to perform there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would like to just like go and visit.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel it. But I was just, for the most of the time, I was just working the entire time.
Yeah.
Because I was on long production days.
Yeah. Will you get more time this time, do you think?
I have no idea.
Get some
I am
actual
there
barbecue?
for a week, though.
Okay.
I was there for a
Maybe
week
we'll
this
check
week,
back
too.
in. We'll do
Yes.
that.
We'll check back in.
See if it's changed at all. Yeah. I think I like Texas
There we go.
as a friend.
As a friend.
Yeah. I don't think we'll move into something serious.
I
You know?
like you as a friend. That's amazing.
Thank you. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Good check in. We're back to regular, guests and stuff next week. Thank you, Blake, for your
Yes.
input about Texas and on all that stuff, and good luck on your future trip. If you are watching on YouTube, you can subscribe and like or whatever. You can get on our YouTube membership so you get extra episodes early. My stand-up, I have a bunch of stuff, like I said in the beginning, that I'm just going to put up there. You can watch the evolution of the holiday special.
There we go.
Yeah, that was the other part, because I've been doing holiday jokes, like working on them. And at first I started like telling people like, oh, well, I'm doing this special, so I have to do it. And now I just started kind of like sneaking in all these holiday jokes. And then I told them at the end, and they were really good with the holiday stuff.
Okay. there
Even
we
though
go.
it started to border on like I'm mentioning religion a little bit. So I was worried about that, but they were great with it. So that's good for me to know that can work.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, YouTube memberships, you'll get to see more of that. Yeah, rate and review, subscribe, do all those things. But right now, you can just keep watching Dumb Pitches.
You're weird.
Yes.